Okay, now, yeah. Okay,
Yes.
I'll start over. So we were contacted by the denomination about the fact that we're doing this book study because they want to do it. So they're like, oh, hey, Resurrection, can we can we join you? Because we have this initiative for 2023 that we're going to do this, and make sure all of our churches are on board for this particular stuff. So I was like, wow, that's amazing. And really and truly, it is a much bigger conversation to have with the denomination. But if we want to stay alive as a denomination, we have to embrace this stuff too. So anyway, I'm happy to help and happy to talk with everybody that wants to their church to doing this too. So we're going to keep Resurrection alive and thriving, but we want to keep MCC alive and thriving as well. We are a church of love and action, and we just really need some more reach. And to do that, we have to find ways to open up our campus and our online campus and our local church campus to a global audience. So that's what this course is about, and that we're setting it up for our own church together is important. So tonight we're going to talk about the anatomy of a Facebook campus, and then the structure of a church campus. What does that look like when it comes to setting up an online structure, and then what groups to connect to. So right now, Resurrection has a bunch of groups and online Facebook groups, and like the Owls and the prayer groups, and all the things that we do. Some of the groups are private, some of the groups are public, but we want to try to open that up so that we can invite a larger audience. And then we want to make sure that we put out a virtual offering of, not money, but a virtual offering of things that are interesting and engaging to people, things that people want to know about. That's where the discipleship comes in, because this is our opportunity to share Jesus and our Christianity and our particular beliefs and truths that the MCC Church shares. And then we're going to talk about a launch date, and then I'm going to talk about volunteers. We already know who I am, but I always put this in there in case there's someone that hasn't ever met me before and they're just now joining. But I've been with Resurrection since 2003, and I do all of their digital marketing and communications. Oof, I didn't change from Canva to or the other presenting software because I didn't have time. So that's another thing, is everything takes time. When you have to present online, you usually have to have some kind of visuals. So that's why it's important to make your plan. So the first part of the chapter that we're looking at tonight is about setting up the Facebook, your structure. And so there's some goal setting that they approach, and the first goal is to set a date for the campus launch and to create a Facebook group. So our group is created and currently private. So some of you have been invited already to the group, and hang on a second. All right, my dogs are trying to get in the room and they're going to be relentless. Okay. So I have a soft launch scheduled for January 18th, and that means we're going to still make the group private, but we're we're going to open it up to new members from the congregation. So that's an exciting. And then 30 days after that, we're going to open it up to everyone. And so the goal for this is to start having this conversation 90 days before you do your actual launch. And I think we're pretty much aligned for that. So, and then we've created the Facebook group, and it is set to be hidden so that if there's anyone in this call that hasn't been invited to the group, if you could perhaps let me know in the chat so that I can add you to the group, that would be great. We want to just make sure that we have Resurrection MCC as the group name, and I think it's Resurrection Online, actually, that is the group name. Let's check that out in a little bit. Okay, so another goal is to establish the campus purpose and vision and engage church leadership. And we kind of had this conversation during our Dreaming Forward sessions. A lot of us are saying, you know, we need to do outreach. We need to enlarge our ministry. We need to get out into the community and share who we are with the community. And the same thing is what we want to do. So the vision part of it is to expand our reach using Facebook. We talked about why we want to use Facebook as a social platform over the last couple of weeks. So everyone should be clear on why we're using Facebook, and because it's got 2.8 billion people on it, and we want to be able to be accessible to people where they are. So it says that we should have done that 80 days before launch. We have already kind of started that. So part of the conversation of Dreaming Forward is going to be carried over into this conversation. And also create shared for the role of the campus within the broader church and to approach the community part of it. A lot of people are like, oh no, not another online thing, but it's really and truly a hub for us. It's going to be a hub to other things. And once people start getting used to going to the hub and finding things they need, it's going to be something that they naturally do. So I'm excited about that opportunity. Another goal is establishing a Facebook campus leadership team. We need to do that. Even if it's just 3 people, we need to have some kind of a leadership team. Ideally, you know, it would be nice to have the Facebook campus divided into maybe 3 or 4 different types of ministries, like a prayer group, like a you know, the virtual book study groups. We can talk about what those ministries might look like, and so we want everybody to know who is in charge of that particular group. So we have a leadership in that way as well. We want to prepare Facebook for a campus launch, and that's where we are right now. We're preparing our Facebook online campus to be launched. And we want to link our Facebook groups to the church's Facebook pages. And it says reorder tabs for the group to rank on the first landing page. That's just something when the search part of how search affect how people look for something. So we definitely want to use keywords in our description of the church and things that the structure that we use. There's tabs that we can create so that people know exactly what things we offer. We've already got a group cover photo for now. Certainly group cover photos can change just like any other header photos that you see on Facebook pages. We want to make sure our group description and church information so that people know. They know we are, they know what we are, they know what kind of church, they know that we're a Christian church, lots of different things that will give people the opportunity to say, hey, that's what I'm looking for. We also want to add group values and rules. So there's got to be a way for people to kind of opt into the online church. And by doing that, they'll get added to Planning Center. I want to make sure that we're using every single person that comes to this group has access to Planning Center or the church app, so that we'll talk about why later. But we want to make sure that we explain what our values are, because that's important. We have values, and that there should be rules of engagement for how you can talk to people in the group, and what might happen if you go against a rule. There are other groups out there. I'm sure everybody here belongs to a Facebook group, but we want to make sure that we have some rules of engagement, because we do have a specific demographic that we serve, and we want to make sure that people respect that demographic. We want to make sure that we're adding upcoming events and other relevant information. So that's where I want to actually align it with the Planning Center software that we use, and we'll talk about that in a little bit too. We want to add curriculum for Facebook units courses. That is going to be how we train people to use the Facebook group. Those people who are in leadership positions or staff, they're going to get training on how everything works. We're not just going to say, hey, you're the leader, and we're going to expect you to know how to do everything as soon as you say yes. So that's not what's going to happen. And so that's kind of the goals for the 30 days before you launch. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We want to schedule a group launch and the church members and friends. We will do the first launch, the soft launch, in January. I think I picked January 18th as it's the Sunday where I'm going to sit in the gathering space and have a table, and anybody else who wants to be part of that, I'm going to order some shirts and put some balloons up and make it festive and inviting, and invite people to join us. And then we'll have the public launch in mid-February. So we want to have some activity happening, even if it's just one thing. We want to look organized. We want to look like we have a purpose. We want to look intentional. We want our stuff to be engaging and relevant. So all the things that we have to have in order for this to be successful. We have to have, eventually we'll do this mass in-person group joins, and advertise the group to other groups, and in our Resurrection advertising, we can promote it. So on our Resurrection business page, we can promote the group. So in the book, it talks about the structure of having leadership, and it talks about having a campus pastor. And so at this point in time, we talked about last week having a budget for paid or stipend compensated leadership. And that is a goal to have. We right now have some volunteer clergy, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to have some positions. Now we're starting, and we're just gonna do our very best with what we have right now, and that's going to be some volunteers. The campus pastor is going to oversee the campus, and then impart the church's vision by what they know about resurrection and about MC churches. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. So we talked that Kelsey's on the Zoom with us. It's one of those leadership pastors. Decided exactly her role is going to be, what that's like. She raised her hand, and we made sure we accepted that. Interested in helping us grow the campus. They don't have an MCC church where she lives in house, so we want to make sure that who are interested in being of MCC being part of Resurrection. So that is Carol. She came to us wanting to be both. So let's see. I'm sorry. Try. Okay, so campus pastors are going to be voluntarily just talk about, and you know, it could be somebody that's not necessarily a ordained minister, but we just have to talk about what that's like and how that worked for us. So we want a leadership team, have resurrection, have leader, on staff people who are paid and some volunteers, and make up the executive leadership.
Suzette, you are breaking up big time. Everybody, yeah, you're breaking up big time.
Yeah. Okay, let me try again to.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
It's just a nightmare. Can you hear me?
Now, but.
Okay, great. Okay, praise God. Oh my gosh, that's the other thing is the internet, it has to be stable where we are.
Is that what you get for living in the country, girlfriend?
Probably so, probably so. So you can see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. I want to make sure I'm recording still. Okay, I'm recording. Okay, great. So we talked about the campus staff and what that looks like. It's kind of going to look like the campus staff that we have at Resurrection for the physical church. So we want to make sure that we have similar team, but it's also going to have some team members that are not similar to the physical location. Right now, we have a tech team that helps us do our live streaming, and there's 4 of them. So everybody who sees the online service every Sunday doesn't probably realize that we have a lot invested in our tech team and in the equipment that they use with the mixing boards and the cameras and the sound systems and everything that we had to purchase to get live streaming started. I'm sure it was a big thing at the time, and we want to make sure that we have people just like that who are trained and know how to use the technology that we use. And then there's going to be a campus director. So this is going to be somebody who is kind of like the administrative person, like Terry is with Troy. We're going to have somebody who has those technology skills, who can support the pastor and help communicate and coordinate all the things that are happening online. That's a big job. That's not something that a pastor should be expected to do or necessarily can do. I think it's important that everybody that is going to be part of the growth and the sustainability of our church and wants that has to take part in some kind of technical training. It has to happen. We resist change because sometimes we're too busy to learn one more thing, or sometimes we're too busy, or we don't feel confident enough to take on that new thing. And we want to make that transition as easy as possible for the people that want to be part of this new online campus. So that's the next thing. Once we get the campus up and running, at least we have people in place. We'll do some training, and that will, whatever that looks like, however that needs to happen, I'll be part of that. And anybody else who has technology skills is more than welcome to help me get that started. And it'll be an ongoing thing. It'll never stop. There's always going to be some kind of new technology. There's always going to be some kind of new thing that we have to look at and talk about when it comes to the online campus. So we have to also have somebody that knows how to do, to look at analytics and give reporting back to those people who are in charge, the executive leadership team, so that they know we're putting money into this, or we're putting an effort into this, or we have people dedicated to this. And is it successful? What are we doing right? And what are we doing wrong? We want to absolutely do more of the right stuff. So we have to be able to analyze what we're doing. And somebody in that leadership position of campus director needs to have those skills. And then the next thing is to have an engagement calendar. So when we had to flip over to live streaming about a year before that, they got the Planning Center Online software, which integrates with the Church Center app. Is anybody familiar, or have you seen or heard of the Planning Center software that we use? I'm going to stop sharing now because I think this is the last screen. Stop sharing. Okay, so you may have seen the Planning Center software. It's how we plan our church services. It's dedicated and intended for church use. So it has a way to set up your services. So all the services are in Planning Center. All our activities are in Planning Center. Our church calendars in Planning Center. There's people are in Planning Center. We have a roster and a database of all the people that are members of the church, and then friends, families, allies. We have a huge database of like 17,000 people that's in Planning Center. Whenever somebody comes to Resurrection, they say, hey, I'm first-time visitor, and they fill out that I'm a first-time visitor card. That information goes into Planning Center. So Rhea, Jared, and Georgette are kind of that volunteer team that makes sure that our information and our data gets input. Rhea is in charge of the people part of it, and Georgette is in charge of the events. So event proposals go to Georgette. We get them approved through the executive committee. the event proposals then go to the operations team, and we all say yes or no, that's a good idea, it's not a good idea. And then if we accept the proposal, it gets added to the calendar. And then I get it and add it, it gets added to the registrations. And then from there, artwork has to be created and promotion has to be created, or maybe a Facebook event has to be created. So it's a huge undertaking. And the thing that's really great about that is we don't have to start that from scratch. That already exists. So when we want to create these online events, we can create them in Planning Center, and it'll keep the data of the people that attend these things handy for us, so that we can, they opt into our mailing list, they start getting the mobilizer, they opt into the text messaging, they get a weekly message about the church service starting and how they can join online. Since we've been doing that, again, we've grown from 40 or so to 50 online participants. And then 2 weeks ago, we had 60 participants. So that's huge. We have to be capturing the data of those people who are going to our online services and make sure it gets put in Planning Center, and that we can maintain that information and make sure we invite them into our communications. So it's super duper important that we do that. And then once a month, I take all the new data that happens in Planning Center, and I upload it to Constant Contact, which is our email marketing program, which is the mobilizer. We have about 4,000 email addresses of people that get the mobilizer every week. So the mobilizer is another way for us to get information out about what's going on, so that online church will have some information going forward in the mobilizer. So there's a lot of moving parts to what we need to do to get things started. And I wanted to go to the, has everybody, I asked the question earlier, but has everybody become one of the church group members?
I don't know. I'll have to check. I know Laura posted what it was.
I mean, the online group,
Yeah.
the Resurrection Online. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to check.
So I'm going to look at that real quick. Hang on just a second, and I'm going to share my screen again. Hopefully it will stay on. So I'm going to get out of this program and go to the Facebook piece of it. So this is our business page, and I wanted to make sure that everybody on the session tonight knows the difference between our business page and the the group page. So this page is really about the church from a more formal standpoint. It's more about who we are as a church, what we think, how we feel, the voice of the church, but it's information that we want to post, things that are happening. I'm having, it's not wanting to render. I want to make sure that people from this channel, because we have 7,000, almost 8,000 followers of our Facebook page, know that we're opening up a group. So every day we post something that's happening at the church. And that information goes to the 7,000 or so people who are followers of the Facebook page. So now that we have a group, we want to encourage those people to move over to the group, because the group can do more. The group can be more social. The group can have a lot more ways to do outreach than a static business page. So what we have here is Facebook has gotten super fancy schmancy, and they have all this stuff. Like when I started doing this in 2013, it was just a page. And now they have all this back end stuff that if you're an administrator, then you would see this. So anybody that actually is on the leadership team would probably be an administrator to the group. So you can see that it has a lot of things that we have to look at. So things that, you know, you can pre-schedule posts, which is really handy. It shows, you know, what's going on. Here's our group rules that we haven't done it yet, but I will fill in the group rules. And so this is kind of an example of a group rule, but we definitely don't want to be selling anything on our page. So
Right.
definitely not allow that. We want to perhaps maybe moderate content for a while. So we would put up the ability for people to interact with the page. And in some ways you can moderate the comments. So you can like look at the comments before they get posted to make sure that as we open the group up to a global audience, we don't get, you know, people who are not okay with who we are and want to post ugly things and things like that. So there has to be some kind of a security feature when it comes to using a group. And the group settings is something that as I set up the group, I would choose the settings. So the settings are also a lot. It's just how we look at how we open up the group and how we manage it. So right now we have, you know, who can join the group, only people. It says only profiles. That means that pages can't join the group. I don't know if that's an advantage or not, but we'll certainly look at that. And then who can approve member requests? It's going to be admins and moderators, and then that kind of thing. So there's a lot of blanks to fill in. And there's a lot of things you can do within the group. Like I said, you can schedule events, you can exchange files. So that's something that you can't do on the business page. If you're having a group, a Facebook Live, perhaps, that may be a way that we do some of our virtual things in the future is to use Facebook Live rather than Zoom, for the reason being that Facebook will promotes these events for us. And if we do it as a live, it will announce the live and let people join it. So that's that's something that we'll have to decide if that's something we want to use or not. Do we want to have, if it's just something that's open to anybody, then that's a parameter that we need to decide ahead of time. We can let people post gifts. So that's always a fun thing to have in a string of comments, but we want to make sure that the gifts are appropriate. So, there's always got to be some page moderation going on. We can take polls. We can have rooms. So I'm not sure if you've had the experience with Zoom to go in a Zoom room, but the Zoom rooms the rooms allow live audio broadcasts. So there's a lot of ways to do interactive things using Facebook. And a lot of this is sort of new. A lot of this is. So it's going to be things that we learn about together. And I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm fearless, but I don't have any inhibitions whatsoever about trying something. Usually I try to use a feature at least a few times before I put it out there for everyone else to use. We want to make sure that the technology is used in the right ways. So groups can have badges. So, if you're looking in the group for somebody to talk to, you get, you can find somebody with the coffee cup badge. If you see somebody with the rising star, that means maybe they're new to the group and they want to meet people. So you look for, if you're one of those social butterflies and you want to meet people, you can look for those rising stars. So it has some great features. You can link pages to this one. That's what I was asking. We have other pages like the owls page and things like that. We have to talk to the leadership or whoever owns those pages and make sure they're okay with moving them over into the online church, which I hope they will. It's not something that we're going to, if it's a closed group and it's been meeting for a long time, like a home group or something, they don't necessarily have to join the online church, but it would be to their advantage to having engagement with people from lots of different places. But those are decisions to be made. So there's lots of other things you can do. Raising money on, hey, we do that all the time. What could we do with the ability to raise money online using the 2.8 billion people of Facebook, right? So we get some followers, they like, comment and share on our fundraisers or whatever it is we're looking to raise money for. And it's just the right way to do stuff these days. A lot of people don't know about being able to use Facebook to do fundraising, but it is definitely something we can look into. And we don't sell anything, so we're not going to do product tagging. So there's other things that you can do when it comes to real-time connecting, having chats and live videos. Let's see what else is there. The rooms and events. So those are ways for people to connect in person. Chats, live videos, rooms, and events. Those are the great parts of social media that we need to utilize. When we're raising money or doing some kind of emergency relief, we can definitely make that a special category of raising money for emergency relief. Like we have done that in the past for other churches who were hit by hurricanes, or for the church in the Philippines and stuff like that. So that'll open up the ability to raise money for those causes. We can schedule events online and in person, sharing files and guides. So those are important things to some groups, and it's just part of what we can do with a Facebook group. And then I'm not sure that parenting is relevant to what we need, but there's tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff. So you can see that there's social things as well as, what we can do as a church online. So I think the biggest thing is just being able to engage and having time together, being available to other people who might be looking for something, being that person who gets online and is available to have a conversation. So it's all new. It's all, I don't want to say it's experimental, but it is definitely the future. So we can say, I don't want to do this and not do it, but I think that we are absolutely going to, I don't want to say kill it, but we have such outgoing people, and we have such friendly and warm people. We have such a great mission at Resurrection. And I see Debbie shaking her head. There's going to be time, we need a youth pastor, an online youth pastor. Every kid on the planet is on a phone. So why wouldn't it be great if they could find us online? So find us when they're young. That's what everybody does these days with marketing, is the younger you can get. I just saw the banks have your own credit card or debit card for like kids. I'm like, there you go. They're going to get them as a customer at 5 and they're never going to let them go. So it's how you get things happening. You just make it part of who you are, and we'll figure it out. So does anybody have any input or questions? Or I'm not going to have us be longer tonight. We have a lot of things to decide. So I think for next time, I'm going to have some like, what do you think, or a questionnaire to share with you all, and make sure that we kind of are on the same page. I'm going to take roll, because I don't know how to do it on Planning Center. There's paper everywhere here, but not a blank piece of paper can be had. Okay. So I see Kathleen and Debbie and Laura and Sandy and Janice and Marco and Carol and Vicky and Randy
And Bob.
And Bob.
and Bob.
And Cassandra was here for a while.
Yeah, she had another meeting.
Cassandra.
Cassandra.
Okay.
I mean, I'm the administrator for, or assistant administrator for the Deep and Wide, the daily study. And I help with the noon, so I'm a leader on that and check in and take attendance there. So I've done some of it, and I've done a lot of Zoom and stuff on Facebook, making posts, making fundraising opportunities and things like that. Some of this stuff I've already done. If it will help any, I am an ordained minister. I'm just not one at RMCC or MCC, but I'm looking into it.
So I think it is important to know, where your heart is, and what your big picture view of how you fit into this. We need pastoral care. We need prayer warriors. We need, we're going to need the basics as we go forward, and you can help us discern that and help us to recruit others to making it happen. But I know you're wanting to do this, and I'm just excited. And Reverend Vicky also raised their hand. I think there is a value to in-person things. There is, but like I said, not everybody has access to an MCC church, or to an LGBTQ organization, or to to the understanding that they need to have to say, how can I put my Christianity together with my sexual orientation, and all those questions that people have, that and then educating the community about the kind of people we are, and how we want to interact with people in the community. We want understanding, and we want to promote, we want to sustain and grow. So Janice, yes. So anyway, I will send kind of some information before the next class about, those things, the fill in the blanks. And yes,
Good.
Sandy.
Well, I'm grateful that you're doing this
Yes.
and very grateful. And I'm grateful for the group that's here. I know most of you. And yes, it's something that it's great that when we can do things in person, but for those of us who can't, because of choices, I'm grateful that we're doing it. And you know that I'm here for you. You know that part of me goes, please don't take my role away because I want to keep it. And I love being the online moderator, being at church. And it's hard, like last Sunday when I couldn't do it because I didn't have internet. And I was like, no, but I love
That's
this book.
growing. And I think that's because of you. I really do.
Mhm.
Because you're there every Sunday and you greet people and you're
Nice.
welcoming. Yes. Very, very important. And Carol, we need to get together, me and you offline.
Yes,
Hopefully before the next time we have a session
would love
and
that.
talk about the structure. Yeah. So I will get with Janice. Did you want to talk, Janice?
Oh, no,
Janice,
just you and I can either call you, or you can call me.
Okay. So if it's okay, I'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah,
if
no, that's
okay.
fine.
Okay, so I'll put you down on call, Janice.
Yeah. I'll be
And-
getting my COVID shot around 10:30. So
Okay, and Carol.
other than that, I'm open all day, sweetie.
Okay. And then, hi, Marco, you want to be part of that too? We'll make sure you can.
show you.
What do you got there?
These are the notes he took for this meeting.
I love them. I love them. Thank you so much for being part of us, Marco. We really love you. And we know.
My God, I have people.
He said, my job is to help people, and what he was giving you the fist for was the prayer warrior thing.
We know you have the heart. We know you have the heart in
He
you.
wants to be a prayer warrior for the group.
Yes. Awesome. All right, guys. Yes, and Reverend Vicky. So I will give you the opportunity to just tell me when is a good time for you. If you want to email me, Suzette at resurrectionmcc.org, and just say, let's have a meeting. Friday is pretty open for me tomorrow. Mondays are usually slammed. Tuesdays are okay too. So if you can get me tomorrow or Tuesday, that would be great. I would love to talk to you and hear what you think and what you have to say and what you would like to take part in. And if you know somebody that might be able to help us. I need a graphic design person. That's the most time consuming thing. It's so.
I can talk to
time-consuming.
Danny. He's the one that did some of the designs for ideas for the float that.
Okay, I love it.
So I can talk to him and see if he'll be interested. Maybe I can con him into help because he's 23 and right at that age. You know,
I love it.
I'll see what I
That's
can
the
do.
age we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, gotta go.
Okay,
Love y'all.
so
Great, thank
I'm
you.
gonna let you say goodnight and love y'all, and I'll see you next week. Take
See
care.
ya.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
Marco.